and like no none of that, right?
Yes, no
Yeah,
swearing.
yeah. Let's just keep it PG.
Hmm. I can send it. I can send the link in also in the group DM if you want me to, Shota.
All good. I found it, so it's
Okay.
good.
I
There
can
we go.
send it in the
All right.
link in. All right. Looks like we are live.
Great.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the 10th episode of Goddess Spotlight with Leah Serenity Rose. I'm your host, Leah Serenity Rose. And of course, I have the popular producer of the Sonic Symphony here today, Mr. Shota Nakama.
Hey, how are you, everybody?
It's truly an honor to go to the Sonic Symphony and experiencing the music and having you perform having you perform with like Crush 40 and Kelvin Quinn because I went to the one in LA and that was
Cool.
that was very truly a magical experience. All right,
Thank you.
so here's my first
Mhm.
question for you, Shota. Tell us about yourself and your background in being a producer and what inspired you to become a producer.
Yeah, it sort of happened. Becoming a producer thing is just like a sort of like what happened in the end. But yeah, so I guess my background is I'm from this little island called Okinawa. I guess everybody knows the Okinawa as the one of the blue zones now, and people live long. And I grew up there, and I wasn't necessarily a good student. And when I discovered rock and roll back in uh, I think it was like when I was 15, 14, 15. I can't remember the specific age, but like around there. Towards the end of my middle school time, discovered rock and roll, and I begged my mother to get me a guitar. And her brother, my uncle, he used to play in a band, so he's like, yeah, I have 7 guitars, so like, I'll give you one, and he did. And when I finally saw it arriving at my place, and when I held it, that was it. I decided to be a musician. I decided to pursue my career in music. So yeah, and then I wasn't a big fan of the Japanese music, and I've always liked the Western rock and roll, like British rock, American rock stuff, particularly the 70s and 80s. So yeah, then I always thought I will come to America to like really just go for it. And when I was 18, I had a chance to come over to the US. My friend knew somebody in the college in Seattle, and so he was like, you know what? Do you want to go to America? And I'm like, sure, yes, of course. Why would I say no? And it just like I just flew right away. Like in 5 days, I said goodbye to everybody, and I quit my band back then, and I just flew. So that's kind of like how I came to the US. And I was 18. I didn't speak a word of English, and I studied English for a first year. Then went to community college to do music major, then 4 year college, and then eventually moved to Boston and got my um, bachelor's degree and master's degree. Then along the way, I started this ensemble called Video Game Orchestra. We played music um, from video games, my arrangements of video games. Um, with I think the first concert was like 28 people. This is back in 2008, and that went well. So it just kind of like started growing from that point on. And of course, like as a rock musician, I always want to add the band component. So the symphonic rock style that I like and that I'm basically like implementing to Sonic Symphony was already there back then. And yeah, like we started playing at the bunch of anime conventions, PAX, and a bunch of venues. So I guess like that kind of eventually led to me doing like recording sessions, working on production stuff for the soundtracks, and also the producing concerts. And I, like I was the leader of the group, so I I guess I just naturally I became the producer, and I've always wanted to do what I wanted to do, which sounds kind of arrogant and selfish, but that's that's how I was, and yeah, that's that's kind of how it happened.
Wow, that is very inspirational, Mr. Shota. Like you've come a long way, that just really shows your achievement right there for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and you never know what's gonna happen. And I came to the U.S. to be a guitar player. I didn't intend to become a composer or arranger or a producer or any of that. I always thought becoming sort of like a studio musician kind of guy, session guy, was a thing for me to do, because then every day you encounter new music and every day it's fun, and that's not how the reality is, but back then that's what I thought. And yeah, so things I guess things worked out.
Wow. Oh, looks like we already have questions from the audience.
All right.
Oh, here's a question from Kevin. My question to Shota: what was the biggest highlight for you during the Sonic Symphony tour so far? Great question.
Let me see biggest highlight. It's it's hard to pick certain moments. To me, the whole thing, um, being able to celebrate Sonic, one of the most beloved characters of the video game history, with everybody involved, with my musicians, the staff crew, you guys, the fans, community, and with Sega, and just having this like really like joyful moment on stage, and just i- the whole thing is just incredible for me. And I'm yeah, it's hard to choose one particular point, but yeah, like the whole thing is just so awesome. I love it.
Nice. Yeah, it's kind of like, how can I choose? They're all amazing.
Yeah, and well, if I can name certain moments, I guess like I do have moments, but like yeah, not maybe highlights instead of just one moment, right? Like when we play Reach for the Stars, um, people literally like flashes their phone, and it becomes like stars in the entire venue, which is just like incredible to see. It's a mesmerizing view to see from the stage, and it literally it feels like we're reaching for the stars, and it's amazing. And also like being able to share the stage with Jun Sanoe and Tomoya Otani and all those guys, that legends I looked up to. Um, it's been an honor, and they're always fun to perform with, and we became like really good friends, and we go out and just talk about our passion and everything, and our goals for the show and all that stuff. So it's awesome. Of course there are like um challenges, the production challenges. It's This is a difficult show to put together. It requires a lot of attention. Technical side of it is like pretty crazy. Um, so yeah, we every day we scratch our head and just like try to figure out what we can do to make it more efficient and more stable.
Mm.
And you don't want to have technical difficulties at the shows. It's a nightmare. So yeah, we do. Yeah, it's these are all like great moments, highlights, and yeah.
Wow. Like, I am very curious to know, like, how did it feel to be able to perform with Crush 40 and Kellen Quinn and and them? Like, how did it, what were you feeling? Like, did it feel like it was surreal? I'm very curious.
Um, because I knew, like, except Kellen, because I knew like most of them before, like it didn't feel like surreal. But it's just nice to. I've always liked performing with great musicians and great people, and it's fun. It's very like we are entertaining people while we are playing, but we are at the same time entertained by like every aspect of the show. like from the audience, because you guys are like singing your ass off for every show. It's great to see. And then also the musicianship on stage is like really, really high. And seeing June, Otani-san, and Johnny and Kellen, like them, like really rocking out is it's one of a kind experience. It's awesome.
Oh, for sure. Ooh, okay. Looks like I see another question, and it's from Cookie Star. My question for Mr. Nakama. Besides America and some part of Europe, any plans on expanding the symphony to the Latin American side?
Yeah, we are certainly talking about that. It actually takes time to book tours, and America is a little easier because like the majority, or actually like everybody, all the band members are here in the U.S. and mostly in Boston, so it's easier for us to definitely book shows in the country in North America. Um, travel is less, and it's just like it everything's like less costly in terms of like time and of course the money part as well. But yeah, I always go to Brazil. I go to Brazil like once or twice a year and to perform, and we have been talking about sort of like expanding out from this engagement we always get in Brazil. Like we perform at the Brazil Game Show every year, and but we definitely want to go to Argentina, Chile, and all the places. And it's just a matter of logistics and then timing. But we hope, like we really hope, like we can make it happen this year.
Mm.
And I've only gone to in South America. I've only gone to Brazil, I think. So for me to be able to go visit other countries and just discover like all the things I read about, and that's I want to do that. That would be awesome.
Mm. Nice. Because I know like it's like I've been keeping track of like the tours. I was like wow, that's just a lot. Like
Mhm.
that definitely has a lot of planning to do.
Right.
And I know recently you came back from San Francisco this past weekend.
Yeah, like I came back yesterday.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's the travel is like pretty intense, but I do like traveling, so like I personally do not mind it. But like if you're away from home for like a certain um, longer than a week or two, then it things some people don't like it, some people like it, and like there are a lot of things involved. Some of the musicians they have family and stuff, so there are a lot of things to consider. But yeah, like we are definitely wanting to make all the as many shows as possible and as many places as possible.
I really love that you are doing that because like the Sonic fans is like very like international at this point.
Right.
And it really and the fact that I know you travel a lot, to get to all of those like across the world other than America. That's I commend you for that. Like it's it's definitely it's definitely amazing that you're able to travel and be able to interact with the fans on an international level.
Mhm. Yeah, it's fun, because I've said this before, but a lot of the video game concept producers or like producers in general, they or we do not interact with fans very closely because like sometimes it just gets like you don't have time, and you know um, you don't want things to be too personal. I don't know, but I don't want to run Sonic Symphony like that. It's I think Sonic Symphony is I consider Sonic Symphony as a celebration of Sonic and the community. And that's how I think of Sonic Symphony. And so that's why I kind of ask, hey, what songs do you want to hear from the show? What do you want us to change and stuff? So like drowning music during the countdown was one of those, and I thought it was great idea. So it became a kind of must have kind of stuff. And so every day, like we're trying to improve stuff. And yeah, like that's kind of how I want to shape the show. I want this show to be for everybody.
I love that you do that because, like, being able to get the audience's like feedback of how to improve it, of what songs like. I'm very curious. What's your favorite Sonic music to perform? I'm very curious.
Oh man. um that's a really hard one, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I can't really choose one. That's hard, and that's probably like one of the hardest questions I get. Um, Endless Possibility is great. I love it. The riff is great. Like and also like the emo punk kind of style. Like it's pretty awesome. And Live and Learn is of course always great. Breakthrough to All is awesome. Undefeatable is like very challenging because the guitar solo is like very undefeatable and it's so difficult.
Mm,
But
mhm,
the challenge excites me. And yeah, Night of the Wind, when you see the crowd singing with all of us, it just it, it feels great. And so, you know, it's hard to choose one like the highlights and stuff. But yeah, and I I think I like the undefeatable. I think I like the undefeatable a lot. Yes, the 2 days ago in San Francisco, the orchestra was awesome, like really great, and also the hall was great. The Davis Hall is one of the best orchestra concert venues in the world, and I was able to like really hear what I did with the orchestra arrangement, um, with the live performers, and it just sounded like really great. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I did a decent job. So yeah, like what we do is like we for the first half of the set, the orchestra only set, there are multiple arrangers, and I'm one of them as well. And but for the second set, the band plus orchestra part, I write all the scores and I write all the arrangements. So like that, I know what I did, and then yeah, it's pretty awesome to hear what I did being played live with such fantastic orchestra musicians.
nice. Yeah, like I can definitely tell undefeatable is very difficult to perform.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, yeah, but like when you know like the band when we lock in, it sounds so good, and we just have to like keep rehearsing and practicing in order to like not not get too loose, because it's physically actually demanding, and you have to like really physically like in a good form, good shape to execute these songs. And because of the genre of the music and the gent stuff, the metal stuff, the modern metal stuff, and you have to be like super super meticulous in order to make it sound great. And so yeah, like we just practice our ass off. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Like I kind of love the behind the scenes like videos that
Mhm.
like I've seen like a few of the rehearsing videos
Yeah,
and
yeah, and yeah. So like the hotel rehearsal stuff we were talking about, right?
mhm.
Yeah, and those were like out of necessity because like we were planning to book rehearsal space, a proper rehearsal space, but in Atlanta, for example, you have to drive quite a bit, and you can't really. I don't really want to impose that on the musicians when they fly into the city because they're already tired from the flight. And if you have to drive 30 minutes to get to rehearsal space, set up everything, and then like break down, get out, and that's a several hour commitment on its own, and we can't really impose that because then like we might affect the show next day. So we just kind of end up like running the stuff in the hotel room, just so that mentally we are prepared. That maybe not it's not as close physically, but it helps. Even like reading the scores together would help. So like we do all these things to like make sure that the show is good. And yeah, like if it takes a hotel rehearsal, sure, I would do it. I don't mind that. We've rehearsed in the worst places before, so like that's all good.
Ooh, that's yeah, like I can tell like you guys do such an amazing job and doing all those rehearsals, and that's just like that takes a lot of commitment, and
Yeah.
all that commitment really culminates in every performance. Like every time I see on Twitter,
Hmm.
like everyone is talking about, oh, they did such an amazing job, and it's really great, that you guys keep rehearsing um and everything. So that's
Hmm.
really amazing that of being able to do that, and you have a lot of more upcoming like upcoming
Right.
performances as well.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, it's exciting, and I love it because everywhere we go to, everybody's as excited, and it's cool. Like it's not something that every musician can experience. You know what I mean? Because like I used to play in like local bars, and
mm,
do people listen to me? No, I don't think so. And they were just drunk. And yeah, and so like we've and my musicians as well. Like we've all gone through like good shows, bad shows, and the Sonic Symphony shows are definitely like some of the best shows we've ever done. And we appreciate it, and we you know how we respect the show and how we respect the people who come to the show. It's to execute the show, right? And we do it well, and we give the best experience possible. And that's why we practice and rehearse.
yep, that is a true fact. I used to play a violin back in the day when I was younger,
Mm,
so I truly understand what you have been like talking about, and it's very surreal, like that that the Sonic Symphony has been gaining a lot of like attention,
mm.
and rightfully so. And it's like every time I ask my friends, "Did you enjoy the concert?" They would say 100%.
Right. Yeah, it's awesome to see like all the positive comments, and I do, for the record, I do read like neutral comments, negative comments as well, because like I want to improve the show, and any comments I get, any suggestions we get, um, yeah, I love it, and that means the show can be better, right?
Mhm. I'm very curious, like, from the different concerts, like
Mhm.
which songs did you like switch out in terms of like audience feedback that you get?
Um, Pumpkin soup, Ghost Pumpkin soup was was definitely like one that we added in October, and that was just like a random idea I posted on, because on Twitter or X, I just post whatever I think at the moment, which is probably the proper way of using social media. But um, I was jokingly posting. I posted the Ghost Pumpkin Soup, and I said, hey, maybe like we should play this song for October because it's Halloween pumpkin. Yeah. And then the composer Tomoya Otani himself, he retweets with a comment. He's like, "Yeah, you have to." I'm like, "Oh no, what did I do to me?" And so yeah, I quickly came up with the sheet music, and we're like, "Okay, let's just do this and just have fun." And everyone wanted it. Everyone wanted to hear it too. So yeah, yeah, that worked out. And there are well, due to the nature of tour or shows like this, you can't switch the songs every show because that means like you're imposing like more tasks to like everybody. And but we try to we are trying to introduce a set of new songs next month, and there will be a few songs. Yeah, and after that we may switch on. Who knows? once you master the songs and once you know the songs, then it requires a lot less rehearsals. So yeah, at that point, you'll probably be able to kind of play around a bit. But yeah, there will be new songs, and I don't want to say it yet, but I want to, but I don't want to say it yet.
Mm, that's totally understandable. Oh, we have. Oh, I forgot this question from Ryan the Tenric. I have a question for him. Have you got any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Um, I'm committing to Sonic Symphony this year, and yes, I will do some side projects and stuff, but like my main focus is really to grow the show and make it as big as possible, and that is really the absolutely the number one focus of mine. So that there you go. That's my New Year resolution.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Here is another question I see in the chat from Start to Skill. Question for Mr. Nakama. Is there a possibility for an official Sonic OST guitar tab book to be sold? Would love to be able to play some of the songs the proper way.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm playing them properly, but but yeah, that's kind of up to Sega, I guess. Because it's they have to approve certain things, and or maybe it's up to the composers. I don't know. Maybe if June wants to do it, sure. Like I know how to do it, and we can do that. And yeah, um, I had to because the tabs don't exist. So when I started arranging for the show, I had to transcribe the whole thing. So I literally I sat down and I listened to all the band parts and I wrote down the whole thing. And I wasn't given like, hey, here you go. Here's like the tab. Here's the sheet music. There was none of that. So so yeah, it's I think it's good training for you. So if you like that and um but yeah, if you can release them, awesome. I think the tabs these songs deserve to be more recognized, and if the tab is available more, then more people will play. So I see the point, and that would be great.
Mm. Ooh, I see another question from Kevin. My next question, what is the one city you really hope to do a tour in?
Oh, um, I can't say one city, but some cities or countries. Australia for sure. I definitely want to go to Australia. I've never gone, and because it's just like from Boston, it's such a difficult place to go to, and we know there are a lot of people who are wanting the show to come to Australia, and we yeah, I'd love to go there. And also like I see like wacky news all the time about Australia, like giant bugs and stuff, and I'm I want to kind of experience that. Yeah, I would love that. And Germany, because we had to postpone the show, and I think we owe it to the people in Germany. I actually go to Germany quite a bit. I go. Sorry, somebody's calling. I'm trying to like decline the call. Um, but yeah, let's. So like I go to Germany like a twice, maybe three times a year. In fact, I'm flying to Vienna tomorrow, so that's close enough from Germany. But yeah, for recording sessions, and yeah, we definitely want to do something great for the affected individuals in Germany. And I know like there are a lot of people who are looking forward to the show, but it's just like logistics didn't work out. I posted like a lengthy Twitter tweet about that. Um, but yeah, we are definitely committed to make it happen, and I hope when it happens, I hope we can do something special for the audience there. Yeah.
Mm. That is very nice that you are doing that. Being able to contribute, to help lighten the mood,
Hmm.
with a concert because like we all do need we do need like positivity and enlightening of our mood, especially in this world where it's very hard to know what's gonna happen.
Hmm.
But that's really cool that you want to go to Australia to do a tour in. I
Yeah.
have I have some Australia friends who are like, please, please bring it to Australia.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I would love to. Would be one of the best days of my life. I have some friends there too, and yeah, just thinking about like touring the world is exciting,
Hmm.
and seeing and feeling and the things you didn't know and meeting the new people. That's that's why I like traveling, so, to begin with. so so yeah, if I can do that with in conjunction with performances, that'd be fabulous.
Hmm. That's really cool. Oh, here's my next question. I'm very curious. Like, how have you successfully balanced creative vision with budget and timeline constraints for the Sonic Symphony?
uh yeah, it's tough. It's really tough, and I th- I can go on like hours talking about that, so maybe I should talk about the details. But yeah, it's figuring things out for such a big tour is could be a nightmare, could be crazy, could be great. But what the one thing I'm fortunate, um, I'm pretty fortunate to have such a great team. And anything happens, like any obstacles we encounter, everybody supports, and that includes the Sonic Symphony Band, tech crew, our promoter, MGP Live, and also Sega guys, and everybody helps out, and we as a team we solve situations, and
Hmm.
so yeah, that's how I balance how have assemble a great team, assemble the Avengers of you, and then then you can defeat any problems.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like the saying goes, there's no I in team, you know?
Mhm.
It's like it's like a huge collaboration group effort, you
Right.
know? Hmm. Ooh, okay. Here is my next question. Other than the guitar, do you play any other instruments? Because I have seen like short snippets on your Twitter of you playing bit of like some of the Sonic songs. So I'm very curious, do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, I play passable piano, like so. I play a little bit the piano, just enough to compose music and stuff. I play variations of guitars, so classical guitar, acoustic guitar, ukulele, and shamisen, and all kinds of stuff. So like any plucked instruments, I think I can kind of adjust myself to play them, and I have some here, and I have in my closet I have a bunch of smaller instruments too. So yeah, I can play most of plucked instruments. I think maybe.
Mm. Nice, nice. Because I was very curious because it's like you have like the musician background, so I was
Hmm.
just very curious about if you played any other instruments other than the guitar. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm very curious. Can you tell us about the rehearsals like before every Sonic Symphony showtime? Like, do
Hmm.
you practice like specific songs or before you start, or
Hmm.
do you practice at least some of them?
Well, when we get together to rehearse, we definitely go through the entire set once, at least once per each rehearsal, because you need to like there is a difference between executing the music and also executing the performance. And
Mm.
m- executing the music is just one aspect of the show. Like you play well, you play with the group, and just make sure that like, everything is like super tight musically, and that's great. And but the performance side is You have to move around. You have to engage with the audience, and so like we call it production rehearsal, and you have to kind of like go through the set in the order of the show, and you have to time it. And there are just like a lot more technical stuff involved. So yeah, there's like, there are differences, but whenever we get together, we try to go through the set at least once, and then we start working on individual spots. Like, okay, like this song, this was like kind of loose, so like, let's just work on that. Or like if you have a new song, hey, let's just spend more time working on this song. And it's sort of like um running. Like when you train as a runner, you have to run, and you have to keep doing that, right? And music's the
Mhm.
same deal. Like you have to go over the same song however many times until you get it. So yeah, it's a lot of training, almost like, and once we feel like we are in a good shape, then we go play the show. So
Wow. Like I've always been very curious, so that's why I was very curious about that. But that's really cool how you tackle that to be able to practice the set songs before, because like as you said previously, you don't want technical difficulties
yeah,
at all before
right,
you perform, um,
yeah.
and everything. Oh, okay. I see another question from Start to Skill. Question for Mr. Nakama. Which is your favorite guitar? Is it the blue Steinberg looking one?
Um, hmm. Every guitar is different. Every guitar has a good thing, and the blue guitar has become sort of like my favorite because it has a lot of stickers of everybody, and because everybody kept giving me stickers, and I'm like, how do I use this? And I just started putting them on my guitar. Initially, I was like, maybe it's my suitcase, but I was like, nah, nah. I want these to be on my guitar so people can see. So it just kind of became like, you know, it's a collection of Van's memory and my memory as well. And
Mm.
yeah, so yeah, it's I guess like that's my definitely my favorite guitar for sure.
Nice, nice. Because like I love that you whenever you get like any new stickers, you put them on your guitar. It's kind of like you're building up like a you could say like a
Yeah.
memorabilia.
Yeah, there's like no more space right now, but like I think I'm just gonna put the stickers, whatever stickers we get in between, so that eventually it will just become, you won't be able to see the blue. It just becomes like a mass of stickers. I don't know.
Oh my. Yeah, it's really cool. Every time I know you kind of posted a picture of like you posted like the stickers that you get
Mhm.
from fans, and it's like wow, this is like a huge memorabilia.
Yeah, totally, and it's great, and yeah, I love looking at it, and I love playing it, so it works out.
Hmm. Oh, what do you think is most rewarding when it comes to being a part of the Sonic Symphony and producing the Sonic Symphony?
I think, sort of like I said, I think when I get to the show, um, typically like I go to the venue at 8 a.m. and start setting up with everybody, well, with the tech crew, and the musicians arrive a little later than us, and just I'm there the entire day. And yes, like I go back to the hotel once and just to change and stuff, but it's pretty physically intense. It's an intense preparation. And but it- we we all feel like, oh man, like this is like a lot of hard work, and it's just demanding. But when you start the show, when we start the show and to see such a overwhelming amount of emotion from the fans, from attendees. We're like, oh, okay, we gotta keep going. And it just that's the moment I feel great, and yeah, that's why we continue doing it, and that's the
Mm,
most rewarding moment, I think.
nice. That's really it's I love your mindset, Shota, that it's like you know, you have the goal in mind that what's the goal of the Sonic Symphony World Tour? It's for the fans to experience musical performance live, and being able to do that and continue
Mm,
to do that like well
right.
into 2024, that that is very rewarding. Like I have a lot of friends who went to the different, you know, concerts, and they told me their experiences, and they said, "Oh, it's definitely worth it if you're like a huge Sonic fan
Mm,
and everything."
nice.
And mhm. So that's what's pretty rewarding, you know, as a fan, being able to listen to it live and just feeling the nostalgia hit me, you know.
Mm,
Um, because I grew up with Sonic and hearing it all the way from its origins, beginnings to all the way to now. It's just like a surreal experience, you know, and that's what's rewarding for us to hear the music.
yeah, super cool.
We have one more question that I
Yeah.
have. Um, let's see. What's your favorite music genres that you love to work in?
Um, yeah, I guess like symphonic rock. So it's sort of like what you see in Sonic Symphony. I've always liked the mashup of orchestra music and also the rock and roll stuff. Um, yeah, and I I can do like all kinds of scores for that format particularly well, and because I know how things function, and that's the genre I think I'm the best at, and also I love it. It's just like when you feel this wall of sound, just it's so epic, and I love it.
Nice. Like, well, I'm very curious. Like, when you rehearse, do you put like your own spin on it, or do you kind of just keep it to the original?
We will always retain the core essence of the original, because there are certain things you should not change, and because like if you change too much, if you divert a little too much from the original, then it might take a longer time for the fans to understand what it is. And
Mm,
yes, sometimes it's good, but for Sonic Symphony, I for the band set, I tend to stay away from doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, I try to retain as much as possible from the original, but then if there is a room for um, adding my spin on, then yeah, I do it.
that's
Yeah, especially the orchestral part, right? Because the Live and Learn originally doesn't have any orchestral part, so I have to come up with like something that's good, and so as the other songs, they don't. Most of them don't have any orchestral part to begin with. So yeah, then I got all kinds of liberty to to give my input. So yeah.
wow, that's that's pretty amazing. And unfortunately, we will have to end this short because I know Mr. Shota Nakama, you are a very busy man in continuing the Sonic Symphony
Mm.
tour. But I'm really glad we were able to do this Q&A. Being able to learn about more about the behind the scenes, about the rehearsals, and being able to learn how it all culminates into each concert performance
Mm,
that you have been performing at, and hearing the behind the scenes stuff has been very has been very amazing to hear. And
cool.
yeah, like I was surprised that you agreed to do this Q&A. So you have
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what I was walking in, but like it's nice to like do this kind of stuff and interact with you guys and also the fans and everybody. And yeah, no, I love it. And I'm not gonna say no to offers. And unfortunately today, like I don't have as much time, so we have to kind of keep it short. But yeah, anytime.
yeah. So stay tuned, everyone. There is going to be the next episode of the Lucky Charm podcast is also in the works, as we know, and there might be another Goddess Spotlight with Leah Serenity Rose Q&A coming soon. So stay tuned, everyone. And do you have any final words, Mr. Shota Nakama?
Um, yeah. So yeah, thanks everybody for supporting the journey, the Sonic Symphony journey, and we'll continue doing what we're good at and what we're the best at, and produce the best show possible and take it to everybody, as many of you as possible. So, yeah, stay tuned.
All right. May you all have a wonderful day.